Good morning. Today we'll start with the topic energy transfer and general energy analysis. We'll start again with the first law of thermodynamics. We state that the conservation of energy principle, energy can neither be created nor destroyed during a process. It only changes from one form to another form. We had to discuss this example, that is the potential energy is 10 kilojoule. It is converted into kinetic energy. So total sum of total energy is 10 here, 10 here. So means during falling of a rock from a height, the energy is conserved and nothing is you can say lost here. For all adiabatic process between two specific states of a closed system, the net work done is same regardless of the nature of closed system and details of the process. Considering that there are an infinite number of ways to perform a work interactions under adiabatic conditions, this statement appears to be very powerful with the potential for a far-reaching implications. This statement, which is largely based on experiments of Joule in the first half of 19th century, can be drawn from any other known physical principle and is recognized as fundamental principle. This principle is called the first law of thermodynamics and or just the first law. So you can take example of this kettle. So in this kettle, energy of 15 kilojoule is in. So change in energy of this kettle is 12 kilojoule. It means from the energy conservation principle, we know that 3 kilojoule of energy is lost. Otherwise, because this quantity needs to be 15 kilojoule, so it means Q out and Q net change in energy of the system is equal to Q in. So this is also according to the conservation law principle. Now consider a well insulated room heated by an electric heater in our system. As a result of electrical work done, the energy of system will increase. Since the system is adiabatic and cannot have any heat transfer or to or from surrounding, the conservation energy principle dictates that the electrical work done on the system must equal the increase in energy of the system. You can take this adiabatic wall example here, where total energy change of the your air inside this room is 5 kilojoule. So this energy is supplied with the help of the battery. So you can say work in with the help from battery is 5 kilojoule, and this is resulted into change in the energy of the heat content of this room. So next, let us replace the electrical heater with a paddle wheel. As a result of this stirring process, the energy of system will increase. Again, since there is no heat interaction between system and surrounding, the shaft work done on the system must be shown up as an increase in energy. You can see, take this example here. This shaft is rotated and 8 kilojoule of energy is transferred through this shaft, and this fan will rotate due to friction or some sort of energy transfer. The heat energy rise of this container, which is adiabatic, is 8 kilojoule. So this all leads to conservation of energy, means energy in minus energy out is equal to change in energy of system. So if there is 8 kilojoule of energy in and out is nothing, so it means the change in energy is 8 kilojoule. So this is your conservation of principle, or you can say energy balance. Let's see this term. The net change in the total energy of the system during a process is equal to the difference between the total energy entering and total energy leaving the system. The relation is often referred to as energy balance and is applicable to any kind of system undergoing any kind of process. The successful use of this relation is to solve engineering problems depends on understanding the various forms of energy and recognize the forms of energy transfer. You can take another example where work is transferred directly from the piston to this gas. So 10 kilojoule of work is done. So energy transfer, you can see change in energy of this adiabatic container is 10 kilojoule from the same. Also you can see here that this total energy change is either it is internal energy change, either it is kinetic energy change, or either it is potential energy change. So energy change, whatever energy change of this material can be divided into three. Either it is internal energy change, that is m into u2 minus u1, or either it is change in the kinetic energy of this you can say fluid here, or either it is change in the potential energy. So we will so in this example, you can see both the phenomena are combined. Work is transferred to the system and energy is transferred. At the same time, energy is released going out of the system. So you can say if work is done by surrounding on the system, it is taken as positive. Energy is going in, so it is taken as positive. Energy is going out, it is taken as negative. And when you solve this, you will get net change in energy of this fluid is 18 kilojoule. So when the initial and final states are specified, the values of specific internal energies u1 and u2 can be determined directly from the property tables on thermodynamic property relations. So this U1 and U2 you can find from thermodynamic property relations that we'll discuss further. Most systems encountered in practice are stationary, that they do not involve any changes in their velocity or elevation during process. Thus the stationary systems, the changes in kinetic and potential energy is you can say 0, and the total energy change relation is reduced to, that is del E is equal to only internal energy change. Also of this system during a process will change if the only one form of energy changes while the other forms of energy remains unchanged. So mechanism of energy transfer, E in and E out. Energy can be transferred to or from the system in three modes: heat, work and mass flow. Energy interactions are recognized at the system boundary as they cross it, and they represent the energy gained or lost by the system during the process. So there are three modes of you can say energy transfer. One is your heat transfer that we had discussed. Heat transfer to a system increases the energy of molecules and thus the internal energy of system, and heat transfer from the system decreases its energy and internal energy of the molecules of system. Work transfer, an energy interaction that is not caused by temperature difference, is definitely called work transfer. A rising piston, a rotating shaft and electric wire crossing the system boundaries are all associated with work interactions. Car engines, hydraulic, steam or gas turbine produce work, while compressors, pumps and mixers consume work. Mass flow in and out of the system serves as an additional mechanism of energy transfer. When mass enters the system, the energy of system increases because mass carries some energy. Likewise, when some mass leaves the system, the energy contained within the system decreases because leaving of the mass. So you can say energy in minus energy out, that is the net energy balance. So that is Q in, heat in minus heat out, plus work in minus work out, plus along with that we have to include mass because mass also contains some amount of energy. So that is total change in the energy of the system, where subscripts in and out denote the quantities that enter and leave the system, and all six quantities on the right hand side of equation represents amounts, and thus they are positive quantities. The direction of any energy transfer is described by subscript in and out. The heat transfer Q is 0 for adiabatic systems, means if there is a adiabatic system, so this part will be 0. The work transfer is 0 for system that involve no work interactions. If there is no work interaction, then this amount is 0. And E mass is 0 for system that involve no mass flows, means if there is no mass transfer, system is closed, so then this part will be 0, and we can apply this equation, energy balance equation, to solve the engineering problems. You can see here one example, their mass is in, mass is going out, work is transferred between the boundary, and heat is transferred. So this Q in minus Q out is equal to, that is a del E system. We can take example of a closed cycle. For a closed system undergoing a cycle, means the initial and final states are identical. The delta E system is equal to E2 minus 1, E2 minus E1 is equal to 0. It means for a closed cycle, this is equal to 0. Energy in minus energy out is equal to 0. And because it is a closed system, so in the closed system mass transfer in and out is both are equal, so they will cancel out. So we will left with these two quantities, that is Q in minus Q out and W in minus W out. Where W in we can take the example, you can say they are equal and opposite to each other, or not equal but they are opposite to each other. So if one is positive another is negative, the same here, in and out. So we are left with these two quantities for the closed system. So you can solve here that for a closed system the W net is equal to Q net. You can write this as a W net, difference of in and out. Take example of a cycle or your internal combustion engine or Rankine cycle, where you have to, compressor has to do work on the fluid, and from turbine we will get some output, and heat is transferred in the boiler to the steam, and heat is ejected at the condenser. So after taking these four quantities, we will came to here that net's output is equal to Q net in. So the work net output is equal to Q net in. So heat transfer for a closed system, so whatever the heat transfer, net heat transfer is equal to net work output. So that is the net work output during a cycle is equal to the net heat input. So this is for a closed. Now we'll discuss the next topic, that is energy conversion efficiencies. So when we transfer one form of energy to another form, the complete conversion is not possible. There are some losses. So efficiency is one of the most frequently used term in thermodynamics. and it indicates how well energy conversion or transfer process is accomplished. Efficiency is also one of the most frequently misused terms in thermodynamics and a source of misunderstanding. Performance or efficiency in general can be expressed in terms of desired output and required input. So performance is defined as what is your output, that is desired output, and what is your required input. If take the example of electric geyser, which is having 90% efficiency, but if you take electric heater, geyser contains electric heater, so why it is efficiency is 90%? Because as we know, we can convert all the heat energy of resistance heater 100% into, you can say, thermal energy. We can convert all the electrical energy into 100% thermal energy, but still there is a loss because the heat loss is from this tank. So whatever this water heater tank is, so it will have some loss of heat. So that's why geyser efficiency is, you can say, 90%. If you make a tank with the high battery insulation, so that heater, you can say electric heater will have the more efficiency. So efficiency of a water heater is defined as ratio of energy delivery to the house by hot water to the energy supplied to the water heater. Means whatever electric energy you are supplying and whatever amount of energy is supplied to the hot water, the ratio of that is your energy of the you can say electric water heater. So it is different for different you can say devices. If you take a value of, you can say, petrol engine, so for the combustion process this is different. Heating value of fuel, which is the amount of heat released when a unit amount of fuel at room temperature is completely burned and combustion products are cooled to the room temperature. Then the performance of combustion equipment can be characteristics by combustion efficiency. So as compared to efficiency of a water heater, this efficiency is different. It is defined as amount of heat released during combustion to the heating value of fuel burned. So means because 100% burning of the you can say fuel is not possible, part of the fuel will remain unburnt, and apart from most fuel contains hydrogen and which forms water when burned. Means the hydrogen part of that fuel will form water, and the heating value of fuel will different depending on whether the water in combustion products is in the liquid form or vapor form. Because after burning of water, either it can leave as a vapor form or either it can leave as a liquid form, depending on the heating value is called lower heating value and higher heating value. So what is lower heating value? When your water forms as a vapor form, so it will carry some part of the burnt fuel energy along with it. If it will condense the water, it will convert to liquid, and then that energy can be retrieved. So we will obtain higher heating value. We can obtain larger amount of energy from the fuel. So the difference between these two heating values is equal to the product of amount of water and enthalpy of vaporization of water at room temperature. For example, the lower heating value of gasoline is 44,000, while higher heating value is 7,300 kilojoule per kilogram. So depending on these two values, we have to define the efficiency. For most of the gasoline engine, we will take lower heat value because it is not possible to retrieve the heat which is water will carry. But you can say the efficiencies of furnace on the other hand are based on higher heating values, because in case of furnace we can retrieve this value. You can see in this example here, air is coming at 25, gasoline is coming at 25. So this is combustion chamber here. So products of combustion like CO2, water will go into the environment, and lower heating value of 44,000 kilojoule per kilogram is produced. So the efficiency of space heating system of residential commercial buildings is also usually expressed in terms of annual fuel utilized efficiency, which accounts for combustion efficiency as well as other losses such as heat losses to unheated areas and startup. 95%, 96% efficiency can be obtained for this annual fuel utilization efficiency of some new high efficiency furnaces, but this comes at high cost. Further, the generator is you can say in power plant it is further different. In the power plant we have electrical generator which has its own efficiency. 100% of mechanical work cannot be converted into electrical energy, and then power plant had a mechanical efficiency, you can say, and also power plant has thermal efficiency of a power plant, which is the primary interest in thermodynamics, because in the power plant boiler combustion is not complete. So there are three types of efficiency. One is generator efficiency, second is thermal efficiency, and third is your you can say mechanical efficiency. So when you multiply these three efficiency, the efficiency of combustion in the boiler, efficiency thermal, and efficiency generator, you will get overall efficiency of the power plant, which is almost 30 to you can say 40%. For gasoline it is almost 26 to 30%, and for diesel engine is 30-40%. So this is about